great to be with you. It's great to be with you right here on this very, very special show, The Big AP Divide. Amid speculation that the Telugu Desam Party will in fact and may end its alliance with the BJP. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley made a move to buy peace with the warring faction. Jaitley ruled out a special status for Andhra Pradesh, but added that the centre is ready to provide monetary compensation. The Finance Minister said that the centre will fulfill all the promises made to the state after its bifurcation in 2014, but also did add that the sentiments cannot drive quantum of funds for the state. The move comes just hours after TDP chief and Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu hinted at a separation and said that the party will take the right decision at the right time. Rahul Gandhi, offering his special category status if the Congress were to come to power, has really set the political tongues wagging, and we'll take it across to a very special panel that's joining us right here on the show this evening. Amit Kapoor, Chairman, Institute for Competitiveness, China NC, representing the BJP here, Mr. J.D. Seelam, representing the Congress Party, and Lanka Dinakar, leader of the TDP. So thanks very much each one of you for being with us, and I will start with the neutral observer and then go across to the politicians on the show. The Finance Minister says he cannot grant special status, but will compensate with adequate and reflective monetary benefits that a special status must get. China NC, actually, let me just begin with you. Okay, China NC doesn't seem to be ready right now, but let me take this across to Amit Kapoor. Is the Finance Minister merely buying peace?
If you really look at this, what the Finance Minister is saying, that he will actually give a monetary benefit, I think that's a great thing to do, because from a fundamental viewpoint, if you really look at the special status that has been given to the 11 states, it has not really given any benefit to those states in the long term in terms of the economic growth. Because if you really look at the growth of Indian states itself, the 11 states which were given economic status or special status, they have actually been the laggards in the country. So it is actually something beyond the special monetary status or special offers that actually go in. The states grow on a very different trajectory because of very different sets of things. The monetary benefits, yes, it would actually constitute to something, but it is going to be hardly anything. You have to understand what is the state level competitiveness and then go ahead. Having said that, I think that there has to be a clear understanding that promises that have been made have to be kept. But beyond that, I think economically, there is a very little thing that actually happens because of the special statuses. If you talk about Arunachal, Jammu Kashmir, Manipur, Assam, Meghalaya, they've actually been laggards, and they were given a special status for a simple reason, that they did not have the economic wherewithal to support themselves. So that is where it is. So I think when you're talking about the Finance Minister saying something that there has to be a benefit, fair enough, but the state will have to find its understanding. It has to have its own vision in terms of saying what it needs to do and try to understand its industry and create a policy rather than actually banking on special support, special money, and so on and so forth.
Okay, Amit, I get your broader point there, but China NC, I will ask you this question. There was a lot of disharmony, there was a lot of column being written about how TDP may divorce the BJP, how TDP is unhappy with the compensation and the special status not coming, and yet it looks like the Finance Minister has bought time and has bought peace by saying he cannot give a special status, but he will give adequate monetary compensation. Is he really buying peace and time at this stage?
Supriya, I don't think this is about buying time or trying to play any politics of divide and rule. This is, if at all, the honesty of the Finance Minister and the Prime Minister's intent, which is been given out today, where he is not making an offer as a bargain. He is suggesting that you cannot have sentiment that guides you and for your emotion. So if it is a case of special status, we are here, we understand that the bifurcation has cost your state heavy and we will need to look into that, but monetary equivalent to a special status is the prerogative of the government based on the funds available. Now, the centre is open to all kinds of external funding as well. He has specified today that NABARD is an option. So, I think that we have acknowledged that there is an issue which needs to be addressed. We're not buying peace as you'd like to pitch it, but I think we're extending ourselves as government with no kind of hidden agenda to a state that has bifurcated and is in need and has suffered because of the bifurcation and is in need of finances. So I think this is as transparent and as honest as it can get, and I think we need to applaud the Honorable Finance Minister and the Prime Minister for doing the same.
Shainansi, hold your thoughts. And while you were talking about applaud, I don't know what your ally that's not so happy with you right now has to say. Let me go across to the TDP representative right here. And while the finance minister says a special status, Mr. Lanka Dinakar, is not going to be possible, he is willing to give you monetary compensation, and he says that the northeast states were given special status because they had inadequate revenue. How is he going to do that to Andhra Pradesh, especially with so much of devolution now happening and GST revenues? How can he give Andhra Pradesh a special status? And in any case, the revenue deficit has been compensated by the 14th Finance Commission. He is willing to give you some sort of a economic package, but not a special economic status. Is this going to placate you?
Supriya, it is very clear on the part of our side. It is not the dispute between Telugu Desam and BJP or some other party. It is the problem which arises between the state government of Andhra Pradesh and the central government. It is first, initially it is not sentiment, it is right. First, everything should know the fact that there are so many promises made while bifurcation was take place. Some kind of promises were given under the AP Reorganisation Act. Some of benefits were declared in the Rajya Sabha by Honorable the then Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, due to pressure from the Venkaiah ji as well as Arun Jaitley ji on that particular day on which bifurcation was took place in the Parliament. So first, it is right, not sentiment. When the non-fulfillment of this right, automatically it becomes as a sentiment in the public mood. That is the thing should be kept in mind by everyone in the BJP or any other party. Why the special category status was declared on that particular day? It was declared just because of financial resources gap happens after bifurcation, because whole revenue is located at Hyderabad and Telangana. Geographical assets, more assets located in Telangana region, due to Hyderabad was combined capital for 50 years and so on. Because of that problem, which was raised by Venkaiah ji and Arun Jaitley for special category status shall be declared for Andhra Pradesh. Because of that pressure, in Rajya Sabha, Honorable the then Prime Minister Manmohan Singh declared for 5 years special category status.
Right.
So it is very clear on the part. One minute, madam. What happened during this after the completion of a bifurcation process? Telugu Desam Party made alliance partner BJP for contesting elections just for the purpose of future benefits of the state, but just for the sake of future benefits to fulfill all the bifurcation promises. We entered the coalition alliance partner as alliance partner, people alliance with the BJP. What happened for 2 years? We passed 2 times resolution in assembly for special category status. They told very clearly, due to these technical reasons, we are unable to give. They declared special central assistance. What happened for special central assistance? For last 1 year, nothing has been implemented. Whatever the benefits involved in special category status, we extend in special central assistance. That was told by the
Mr. Dinakar, I get your point there, and I perhaps also get your ranks. Mr. Dinakar, I get your point there. I also get your ranks, because you're essentially saying that this was promised by then Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. It was done at the behest of Venkaiah Naidu and Arun Jaitley, and today, as BJP's ally, you expected this to come through. This hasn't come through. My point really is that the Congress is obviously trying to score a brownie point here. The BJP has a lot of answering to do. When in the opposition, you decided it will have a special status. Today, you are unable to give it. I will come back to that and the relationship between the two allies in just a bit. But Mr. Seelam, you represent the Congress party here. Your president goes on to say that if the Congress comes back to power, Andhra Pradesh is going to get a special status. If you are going to give a special status to Andhra Pradesh, what will you do with states that earn lesser revenue, a Bihar and a Jharkhand? I mean, when will this stop? If more money, according to the 14th Finance Commission, will be devolved to the states, the center will have lesser money. With the GST, there is share of revenue. How are you going to justify Andhra Pradesh being a special state and Bihar and Jharkhand not being one?
Supriya, I am happy you have mentioned that, but let me tell you, the Congress is not going to score a brownie point, nor what has been asked is afresh. The Congress party during the bifurcation has brought a Reorganization Act, Section 46, Section 90, 93, 94 are important. They deal with special concessions for industrial growth, special package for backward regions, special tax incentives, etc., among other things. What we asked the Prime Minister, the then Prime Minister is, you are giving Hyderabad to Telangana. We are revenue deficit. We will not have money. All the 50 years we have developed Andhra Pradesh, Hyderabad city. We don't have anything. This is the first bifurcation where the residuary state is asked to leave the capital and go. It's not Telangana formation, it's Andhra Pradesh formation. So in that background, they incorporated all these institutes to grow, etc. 10 years you be together and then go to new capital after building everything with the central financial assistance under the act. It's an act. It's not any normal assurance. It's an act. Then we went around the act. The provisions are very, very, they're qualitative in nature. We want them to be quantified. We know we need lot of financial assistance because of total, we will start a bin show. That's why we said, please give us special categories. This was happened on 17th February 2014. Then the Prime Minister said, okay, the special category status one.
Right.
He made a draft of 6 points. One is special category status, among other things. Then he said, we need the concurrence of the opposition.
Mr. Seelam, I know the history. All I'm saying is, what happens to other states that earn lesser revenue than Andhra Pradesh if you give them a special status?
Because they are saying, no, I'm coming to that. It's not, you cannot compare. We need, because that day it was conditional bifurcation of Andhra Pradesh. Unless this was given to us, we were not willing, because we want the Andhra Pradesh to be on a sound financial footing. You cannot at this point of time, without implementing, cannot bring all excuses, lame excuses. Supriya, this is a solemn commitment.
No. Mr. Seelam, I get your point there.
To be given justice, you need to stand by your own commitments.
Okay. You need to stand by your own. I understand that.
What happens to other states? Why you want to ask other states? They are also asking. Supriya, 1 second. You are also, they are also asking for separate states. Do you not given them? You have only divided Andhra Pradesh because...
Get your point there. Please hold on. Mr. Seelam, no. You can't go on. I am getting your point there. I will have to take this forward with the other panelists. Shaina NC, come in on that. While Mr. Seelam is making a war cry about this, he is at least justified in saying that Andhra Pradesh was assured in the floor of the House that they will be given a special status. Political parties in the centre can't go back on that. Which is why the demand from Mr. Dinakar or from Mr. Seelam is that there should be a special status, because the whole bifurcation of Andhra Pradesh happened and it was assured that it will be given a special status. He couldn't care less if a Bihar or a Jharkhand has an issue with that. So that's question number one. And are you going back on a promise made in the floor of the House, to which even your party, your political outfit was party to? The second question is this really an economic issue, or is at the heart of all of this real polity, the changing political equations of Andhra Pradesh? Is that what is causing this acrimony? Two questions to you, Shaina NC.
Firstly, I don't think there is any acrimony or any kind of politics involved. I think Mr. Jaitley has been absolutely honest when he says that, you cannot let sentiment decide what needs to be a financial compensation. That financial compensation needs to be provided for by the central government, and that is something which is a foregone. Now, when we can, talk about fiscal deficit of whether it's Andhra Pradesh or whether it's Telangana, look at the amount of seats that each party has, we can go on with all kinds of political analysis. But I think we need to understand that the intent is there. Our government has clearly said, both the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister, that budgets will be made available even if we need to get them from outside. Organizations such as NABARD. Now, you can't have more transparent accountability than this. So I would only want to say that when we talk about the impact and where Andhra Pradesh stands and where Telangana stands, first moment just hold your horses and think about where India stands. And yes, you are justified in your demands. We are not for 1 minute saying that you are not burdened with financial constraints because of the bifurcation. But we cannot get sentimental about this, Supriya. This has to be provided through the coffers, and the finance minister is doing just that. Now, you can continue to say that, you know, I heard your initial comment whether anyone wants to divorce us. I think that that's really an unfair assessment when we are extending every single, I don't want to treat it like an offer and an acceptance of an offer, but where we are here on the national scenario saying that we are one united country, we will fight this together even if it takes 10 years to get onto our own feet.
Okay, Lanka Dinakar, come in on that. Shaina NC representing the BJP says that, you know, it's good that you're thinking about Andhra Pradesh, but sentiment cannot decide the quantum of funds for a state. Who is going to think about India at the end of the day?
Initially it is right. Who told you that sentiment? When you are not fulfill the right, automatically it becomes a sentiment. Fundamentally, we have right. On the floor of House, Honorable the then Prime Minister Manmohan Singh ji very categorically declared that 5-year special category status for Andhra Pradesh. The then Prime Minister candidate for NDA, Modi ji, in the Tirupati, in front of Lord Balaji, told that we give special category status for 10 years for Andhra Pradesh. It is very clear. It is very clear. Okay, when you have a technical problem to deliver special category status, again the central government told that after 2017, we are not extending special category status any state. We are not giving any new state for special category status. They told. But what happening? Those benefits which related to the special category status, already they are extending for next 10 years. It was very clear in incentives also. It was extended. It was extended till 2027. It is very clearly given by the central government. That is one part. Other part is revenue deficit. How cruel they are. 16,700 crores revenue deficit for the year 2014-15 assessed by the governor, who was representative of central government. Before forming the Telugu Desam Party government, governor assessed 16,700. It was, as per actual figure certified by the Comptroller and Auditor General, 16,079 crores.
Okay.
Today they are telling 4,000 crores only arriving as revenue deficit. How they are arriving 4,000 crores?
Supriya.
I am asking that we are in federal structure.
Supriya.
We are in federal structure. How can central government tell that? But not be implemented by the state government.
Yes.
Can I say same thing to the central government?
Mr. Dinakar, I get your point. Mr. Dinakar, I get your point. I'll get Mr. J.D. Seelam to respond to that, but to also answer a question. Why has Congress become such a formidable player suddenly in this whole thing? Because you really don't have a locus standi, and many people believe it is the growing influence of the YSR Congress that is making the Congress party extremely active on this one. Mr. Seelam.
Supriya, we are not interested in who is getting stronger, who is getting weaker. We are only asking from day one, 2nd June, Madam Sonia Gandhi wrote to Mr. Modi ji saying that please implement this. She spoke on 17th March 2015 on the floor of the House. Please implement, you are not doing it. It is a sacramental promise we made, and the act has been, it is a, basically I feel it's a conditional bifurcation. Everybody has agreed to fulfill those conditions. Number one. Number two, you are talking something which later developed. We want special category status as promised on the day of bifurcation. Any alterations in the flow, conditions of flow of funds cannot be applied to Andhra Pradesh, madam. This has to be done. This has to be the 90-10 has to be maintained. The externally aided projects have to be given, and the GST concessions have to be extended, because this was promised, not smaller than any person. It's a promise by the Prime Minister, supported by the then leader of opposition and all the other political parties. It's a commitment.
Okay.
Please don't compare with any other thing which later I don't
understand.
agree with Arunji, Honorable Finance Minister, because you cannot alter the conditions to our disadvantage.
Mr. Seelam,
we wanted the implementation of special category status, because you are not implementing, Rahulji has to say that. Otherwise, we were from
Mr.
the
Seelam,
day
I
one,
get your
we are
point.
not-
I get
we are
your
asking.
point. This had to be a
Later
commitment
on,
made.
the
Mr.
Telugu
Seelam,
Desam
I
might
get your
have
point.
backed
This was
on
a
that.
commitment made at the formation of Andhra Pradesh. This commitment has to be kept according to you. I understand it's a sentimental issue for both you and Mr. Dinakar, but I'll get a neutral voice in this, Amit Kapoor. And Amit Kapoor, the fact
it's
that
not
the BJP...
sentiment.
I
Please
get that,
understand.
sir. I
It's
get
not
that,
a
sir. Let
sentiment,
me speak
madam.
now. No,
It's
let
not
me speak.
sentiment. It is a commitment. It's a commitment.
If you're done speaking, I would like to carry on the show, sir. So the Amit Kapoor, the
commitment.
TDP and the BJP have this growing disharmony, this growing acrimony. And while many people will say it's all about economics and, you know, the whole special status issue, a lot of others believe it also has to do with the changing political scenarios, you know, the growing closeness between the BJP and the YSR Congress and all of that. My point to you is that how much of this is a real economic issue? And is Arun Jaitley justified in today saying that the 14th Finance Commission has done away with the special status category? That we cannot do, but we will compensate them monetarily. I mean, truth be told, this was promised to Andhra Pradesh at the time of bifurcation. So the rule cannot change in retrospect.
No, Supriya, I would agree that rules cannot be actually changed in retrospect, or we should actually keep the promises. But I think that a lot of things have changed since 2014. If you really look at the whole economic idea of the country, one is very clearly the whole idea of competitive federalism. If you actually give a special status, then how do we actually tackle with the whole idea of competitive federalism, wherein each of the states is actually going to define its set of idea itself? So this is going to be weakening the process. If you really look at it, there was another statement made that Andhra is disadvantaged. I actually disagree with that, because for a simple reason, if you really look at the productivity levels, in fact, top 20 percentile of the industries like business services, communication, fishing, local commercial services, etc., they are doing exceedingly well in Andhra. So Andhra is not disadvantaged. It actually has certain level of benefits that it can actually accrue and grow on. It seems more like a political ball game that we are actually seeing right now, because from an economic point of view, I'm very clear it is economic naivety to actually say that you need to give a special status. Because if you really talk about it, like what happens to Bihar, there are other states who are asking for special status like Bihar, Jharkhand, Orissa, Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh.
Right.
Are you actually going to give special status to these states as well? So suddenly you'll have 18 states which are actually going to have special status. So what is that meaning itself? I think this is all politics. It's not about economics.
Right.
We have to understand that if there is that deficit financing itself, let's assume that there is a special category given,
right,
the deficit financing itself would actually create an issue in terms of inflationary pressures.
Right.
So I think we need to actually look at the economic idea of this whole fundamental thing.
Right.
And there have been times when Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh were not actually given special status.
I get that point. I'll take it very quickly to Shaina NC, and yes, there is an example in Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh not getting that status. But two quick political questions. I've got last 2 minutes on the show, Shaina, and I'm going to ask you a direct question. The disharmony and the divorce and all of those are obviously terms that we in media use. But is BJP looking at a life beyond the TDP? Because your growing closeness with the YSR Congress has got a lot of tongues wagging.
Supriya, we are looking for a life for every Indian. And I think your previous panelists summed it up very well. I mean, you take Jharkhand, you take Chhattisgarh, you take many other such examples. We cannot view this entire debate through sentiment that, you know, I was wronged or I must get this or I must get that. We are not here to negotiate. We are not here to offer. We're here to hold hands of each other as Indians, as the federal structure, where the states are amply in a position to fight fiscal deficit with support of the center. But when Mr. Jaitley and Mr. Arun Jaitley and the Prime Minister and our party President Amit Shah ji has assured people in Andhra Pradesh and in Telangana that we will tide over this in due course, keeping in mind what is available to the coffers, you need to accept that at face value, and please understand that this is not about a one-upmanship of what one state got vis-a-vis another. It's about the circumstance of debt.
Right. I get your point. I mean, this is perhaps no political upmanship is the word coming in from Shaina NC. I wonder if politics is really about taking people at face value. But Mr. Dinakar, the question to you really is the South of India's and is the Telugu politics also perhaps going to see arch rivals like TDP and TRS come together to form that Telugu axis? Many people believe the possible formation of a third front in 2019 could see the arch rivals come together. Is that a political possibility at all?
I don't tell about TDP or TRS, whatever it is. When there is a problem, all Telugu people in the entire world come together to fight against injustice. There is no doubt about it. There is no ambiguity on it. I want to tell very clearly that I am being a chartered accountant. I had my analysis regarding to AP bifurcation, the implication of a financial implication on the state post bifurcation. Very clearly, I can tell that even 14th Finance Commission telling that after 2020, still Andhra Pradesh is the state which is continuing with revenue
Dinakar,
deficit.
Mr.
With
Dinakar.
revenue deficit.
Right.
It is very clear. It is the state which is by
Mr. Dinakar, I get your point there, but I've completely run out of time here on this edition of the show. But thank you very, very much, Amit Kapoor, Shaina NC, Mr. J.D. Seelam and Mr. Lanka Dinakar for joining us. This is obviously an emotive, sensitive, as well as a very important issue for the people of Andhra Pradesh. This will perhaps also reset the political discourse and the political contours, not just for the NDA, but Indian politics at large. Thanks very much for being with us. Keep it with ET. Now, plenty of news, views and analysis follow right here.